In Terracotta Army, players will be placing their craftsmen and artisans onto the action wheels, all to build the best terracotta army in the mausoleum. On their turn, a player will place one of their craftsmen onto an outer space of the action wheel. They may spend 2 coins to rotate one of the wheels one space in the direction of these arrows. The player will then take all of the actions in their section of the action wheel, starting with the innermost ring and ending with the outermost ring. These spots here will give the player the amount of clay shown, and these spots will give the player the amount of coins shown. If you have any dry clay, this action will rehydrate your clay into wet, usable clay. This spot allows you to convert this craftsman into an artisan. Each space may only have one craftsman, but artisans can go onto a space with a craftsman, but each space may only have one artisan. So if you go to a space with an artisan first, no one else may go there. This spot will make you the first player for the next round, and these spots will flip weapons from their inactive side to active. These spots here will allow you to employ the various masters. You will pay coins equal to how many masters you've employed, so your first master is 1 coin, your second is 2, etc. You will then do that master's action, and then anytime later you visit this master again, you get to do their action, except for now you don't have to pay. The master builder allows you to immediately place a worker in the mausoleum by paying coins equal to the round, though this warrior does not give you any points or benefits. The master administrator allows you to do the action of the innermost ring again. The Master Inspector allows you to move one inspector 1 or 2 spaces. The Master Claymaker gives you 3 wet clay. The Master Supervisor allows you to take dry clay from 2 adjacent warehouses. And finally, the Master Blacksmith immediately readies all of your weapons. This action here is a big one, as it allows you to build warriors in the mausoleum for either 2, 3, or 4 clay. When you do this, you may build any of the 4 warriors. You will score the amount shown on that warrior's position, and then you will place a base of your color on their base, and then place it in any open space of the mausoleum. Each warrior also has a special power that you may activate when you place them, as long as you can turn their associated weapon down to inactive. The soldier simply gives you 2 coins and an extra point. When placing the crossbowman, you will choose another statue in one of their lines, and you will gain 1 point for every open space in between them and that statue. The guard gives you 3 extra points and allows you to move one of your statues in a straight line to another place in the mausoleum. And finally, the officer gives you 1 extra point, and you may move an inspector 1 space forward or back. The last action space is building a specialist. When you do this, you may build one of the 4 specialists by paying coins and turning down their associated weapon. The horse will be placed under a warrior of yours and will make them much bigger, which is helpful for many scoring opportunities. The footmen will score at the end of the game, and players will want to surround them with their statues. The kneeling archer will be placed next to one of your warriors and will break ties. And finally, the musician will score you points at the end of every round if you're in its lines. Once all players have placed all of their workers, the end of round scoring will commence. Each inspector will score. You will have domination and gain 7 points if you have more of your warriors in their line. Kneeling archers break ties. If you have at least 1 warrior, you will still gain 3 points. Musicians will then score. Each player will gain 1 point for every warrior in the line of a musician. Finally, the end of round goal will score. Then players will take back their workers, do some cleanup, and then move on to the next round. At the end of 5 rounds, the game will end. At the end of the game, each footman will score. The player with the most warriors around the footman will gain 8 points, all other players gaining 2. Again, kneeling archers breaking ties. Now we will score groups. Each group of at least 2 of the same warrior will score. You will gain points depending on how many different players have warriors in that group. So if it was a group with just you, each warrior would be worth 1 point. If there was 2 players in the group, each warrior is worth 2 points, or 3 points each, or 4. Each player will score points for their warriors, and then the player with the most warriors in that group has dominance and scores an extra 5 points, kneeling archers breaking ties. Speaking of them, each kneeling archer attached to one of your warriors is worth 2 points. And lastly, every 2 clay and money is worth 1 point, and the player with the most points will win.